Canadians will choose a government to look out for their interests, their earnings, and their opportunities at a time of global economic trouble. And it is a choice, a clear choice, between clear direction or uncertainty, between common sense or risky experiments, between steadiness or recklessness. We should take pride that in this troubled global marketplace, Canada has the most resilient economy in the G7. Our unemployment rate is near its lowest level in 30 years. Even this year, our economy has created over 80,000 new net jobs, and we still have a surplus budget, the strongest financial position in the G7.
It has become clear that Stephen Harper is taking Canada in the wrong direction. We know the course that he set in 2006, and we know where that has led us. Stephen Harper has allowed what was a booming economy to hit a brick wall. So far in 2008, we have the worst performing economy in the G8. Our labor productivity has fallen for 9 months straight. And over the summer, in July, we saw the largest single month of job losses in 17 years.
Canada is not in the same situation as the United States. Our household sector, our government sector, our financial institutions have solid economic fundamentals. The Canadian economy's economic fundamentals are solid. You will recall that a year ago, it was about a year ago, when I started to talk about the coming slowdown in the world economy, people were surprised because there was an atmosphere of euphoria in Canada and many other places. At the same time, I don't think now the atmosphere should turn to one of complete doom and gloom. The American economy has not crashed and has not itself entered into recession either through all of this. So the American economy itself, notwithstanding much deeper troubles than anything we see here, does demonstrate considerable resiliency from time to time. So I wouldn't throw in the towel on any of this quite yet. My own belief is if we were going to have some kind of big crash or recession, we probably would have had it by now, a year into the crisis. So I think what will need to happen will be continual managing of the slowdown in growth. I think we'll manage that without bloodshed.
In the first half of 2008, Canada has had the worst economic performance in the G8. Our worst economic performance since 1991. Since Brian? We have seen 9 straight months of falling labor productivity. Our worst economic performance since 1990. Since? And last summer in July, we saw the single worst month of job losses since 1991. Since? We are faced with an economy in trouble. And Stephen Harper has said that everything is just fine, that we haven't seen any bloodshed yet. It's what he said. We haven't seen any bloodshed yet. That we should say we should keep the course. Which course? Well, we know where the Harper course has taken us. Our economy has hit a brick wall. So when Stephen Harper continues to say everything is fine, to sing the old song, don't worry, be happy, there is no bloodshed yet. He is ignoring what we all know, that the tough times are already here. Either he is trying to mislead Canadians to get a vote, or he does not understand the Canadian economy, that he doesn't have what it takes to be Prime Minister in tough economic times.
Do the people of Canada want, at a time of economic uncertainty, a government that has been able to reduce taxes long-term, has been able to keep our budget in surplus, has been able to make important investments for the economy, and has been able to allow the economy to continue to create jobs even when our biggest trading partner is losing jobs? Or do they want to choose another agenda, which is big spending programs, huge spending programs? I mean, the announcements every day out of these opposition parties are mind-boggling. There are billions and billions of dollars every single day. You know, all the other parties may have a different view on how to run the economy. Our government will not preside over disastrous financial policies. That's not why we're here. I would rather lose an election and I would rather lose a vote in Parliament than do something that I know would put the Canadian economy into deep jeopardy.
What I know is that who sabotaged the economy over 2 years and a half is Mr. Flaherty and Mr. Harper. They receive an economy that had a surplus of $12 billion. Now we have the worst economic growth of the G8. We are close to a deficit and close to a recession.
All the measures we have taken have been budgeted. They're affordable. The measures we're announcing in this campaign are modest. They're also affordable within the 4-year budget that we've published. On the other hand, the expenditures of our opponents are not even close to being affordable. Yesterday, Mr. Dion announced $3 billion in spending promises. Today, he announced $70 billion in spending promises. And the real question is going to be, is this going to be paid by the carbon tax? Is this going to be paid by running deficits? Or is this just something they have no intention of actually doing?
Mr. Harper has no plan. No plan that he wants to communicate to you, at least, because I think he has a plan about the kind of right-wing country he wants to build. But for now, his plan is to follow the path of Brian Mulroney. Look, we have the worst economic growth of the G8 countries this year so far. It never happened so much like this. In fact, our economic performance of the G8 is as worse as the one of 1991 in terms of economic growth. Since Brian Mulroney, it did not happen. We have seen 9 straight months of falling labor productivity, our worst economic performance since 1990, since Brian Mulroney. Last summer in July, we saw the job losses, the worst since 1991, since Brian Mulroney. And now we are close to see a recession in Canada. Mr. Harper has no plan to face it. Why do you think he rushed to an election? Because he didn't want you to know it before you will cast your vote.
There have been big problems in regulation in the United States that has allowed this situation to develop. There have also been big problems in the management of the mortgage and housing sector, which is in the United States, as you know, is not, unfortunately, entirely a private sector entity. It's actually a mixed public-private entity, and you've got into a situation in the United States where unfortunately, when the market makes profits, those profits go to private interests, and when the market makes losses, that becomes the loss of the government. And we don't have that kind of a situation in Canada. We don't have a similar regulatory environment. We have much stronger systems in Canada, much stronger accountability and responsibility. Not perfect, but as you know, the Canadian housing market, the Canadian banking sector are strong. They're nowhere near the problems of the United States.
But we need to act now because our economy is in difficulty. And our economy needs help now. We need to start 15th of October, very early morning, to start to work for this economy. Look what is happening under Stephen Harper. In the first half of 2008, Canada has had the worst economic performance of the G8, or worst economic performance since 1991, since Brian Mulroney. We have seen 9 straight months of falling labor productivity, our worst economic performance since 1990, since and last summer, in July, we saw the single worst month of job losses since 1991, since Stephen Harper has allowed our economy to hit a brick wall.
We have seen in this election, particularly from the Leader of the Opposition, some of the most irresponsible behavior of a Canadian political leader I've ever seen. We have a world economy that is in deep trouble, where there's deep concerns, as we know, in the United States and elsewhere. And we have seen commentators around the world and respected figures here emphasize the strong foundations of the Canadian economy. And a Leader of the Opposition and his leading critics going around and trying to tell Canadians the opposite, trying to drive down confidence in the Canadian economy without foundation. And quite frankly, sitting on the sidelines, virtually cheering for there to be a recession. The only way there's going to be a recession is if they're elected, and that's why they're not going to be elected.
Today, he accused me to cheer for a recession. And through me, I guess all of you. And we know what it is, a recession. It's when Canadians are losing their jobs, when the youth have no ability to start their career anywhere, when you have more and more people in the street in our cold country. This is a recession. He accused me to want that. Shame on Stephen Harper.